All humans are creative, and like any other skill, creativity can be trained. Are you ready to train your creativity? In this video you will learn how. Here are some of the tools, resources, and exercises you'll encounter throughout the video. Often, it's self-doubt that holds people back from being creative. Is that you? If so, it might be good to remember what Andy Warhol said: "Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art." Welcome to MindJourney, your source for learning, entertainment, and fun on all things related to the human brain and psyche. You can only learn to swim by swimming, and you can only learn to ride a bike by riding a bike. The same applies to creativity. You can only learn to be creative by being creative. In this video, you'll learn what creativity is and how to start training yours. You'll get exercises that are straightforward and don't require any special skills. Creativity is hard to define, but many famous people we consider highly creative have shared their thoughts on what it is. The top scientist Albert Einstein said, "Creativity is seeing what everyone else has seen and thinking what no one else has thought." We'll work on that later in the video. We are all creative all the time. When we choose our clothes in the morning, decide what to make with leftovers in the fridge, and when we educate our children. Some people are better at swimming than others, and some are more creative than others. But if you practice swimming, you can get better at it. The same goes for creativity. Traditionally, we associate creativity with art, like painting masterpieces and creating fantastic symphonies. But it's also creativity when you make a Christmas decoration or draw a stick figure. We're not all artists, but we're all creative. The worst enemy of your creativity is yourself. As the writer Sylvia Plath said, the worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. Children are often very creative, drawing and painting throughout their childhood, but many stop when they become teenagers. This can be partly attributed to starting to compare ourselves with others, which leads to self-criticism and eventually stopping. Picasso once said, "It took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child." He created Cubism, together with Georges Braque, something completely new and unseen. When people went to galleries, they expected masterpieces like those of Raphael but got something that looked like children's drawings, completely breaking the rules of perspective. Truly creative. But it took them years to develop this style. When an artist can create a masterpiece, it's because they have practiced and failed hundreds or thousands of times. Before we get to the exercises and begin your training, let's briefly look at what happens in the brain when you're being creative. We now know that the brain needs both hemispheres to be creative, contrary to the earlier belief that only the right hemisphere was involved. The left hemisphere is responsible for convergent thinking. This means, roughly speaking, that it has many possibilities and ends with one, or a few, solutions. The right hemisphere is responsible for divergent thinking, having a few possibilities and ending with many. This can be illustrated as follows. Your smartphone is missing. Immediately, the left hemisphere starts analyzing the possibilities. You left it on the dining table, in your coat pocket, or another usual spot. This is convergent thinking. When you realize it's not in any of those places, the right hemisphere starts considering more creative solutions. It might be in the bathroom, the workshop, or at work. It looks for alternative solutions that aren't immediately obvious. This is divergent thinking. The task then returns to the left hemisphere, which analyzes the possibilities. When you find the smartphone, or remember where you left it, the many possibilities narrow down to one. Convergent thinking. Creativity requires a constant shift between convergent and divergent thinking, a continual switch between the left and right hemispheres. We combine new ideas with old ones we already have in memory. Highly creative people easily switch between the left and right hemispheres. How can you achieve this easy switch between hemispheres? By forcing the brain to make these shifts. The more challenges the brain faces that require these shifts, the more creative you become. The easiest way to challenge your brain is to engage in some form of artistic activity. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something you enjoy working on. In the rest of this video, we will present a series of exercises to train your creativity. If you want bigger muscles, you go to the gym and lift weights. To see results, you need to do it regularly. The same goes for the creative muscle. To achieve results, you need to engage in something creative regularly, preferably every day. Fortunately, it's likely much more fun than lifting weights. Here are 5 small starters to get you warmed up. After that, we'll move on to some more comprehensive exercises. Let's start. 1. Take a selfie on your phone. Upload the picture to the fantastic free graphic program Canva, link in the description. Add a filter and a short description with a font you choose. Use the picture on your social media for the next week. 2. I'm a strong advocate for keeping a journal. It has many benefits, both physical and mental, and it's also a fantastic way to develop your creativity. Write in your journal every morning, or another time if it suits you better. Sit with a cup of coffee and jot down some thoughts and observations. It's as simple as can be, but something happens when you put pen to paper. You think differently, are more at peace, and you get ideas you can carry into the day. You can learn more about journaling in our video on self-sabotage. 3. Do you always take the same route home? Try a different one and take it a bit slower. Stop at new and unexpected things you see. Take pictures or sit on a bench and sketch what you see. 4. Are you going to a concert? Take a small sketchbook with you and jot down or draw the ideas that come to mind while listening to the music. You can also do this at home. Play some good music and spend an hour drawing or writing what comes to your mind as you listen. 5. You have 4 triangles and a circle. You can make the sizes as you like as long as they remain 4 triangles and 1 circle. Your task is to draw as many different things as possible using exactly 4 triangles and 1 circle. The drawing should be easy for others to understand, so avoid abstract drawings. This exercise can be done with other shapes like 2 circles and 3 triangles, 1 triangle and 4 squares, and so on. Here's an idea from the book, The Secret of the Highly Creative Thinker: How to Make Connections Others Don't. You can find a link to the book in the description. Computers can be a source of creative inspiration. First, write the beginning of a story, for example, "It was a dark and stormy night." Then rewrite some of the words with incorrect spelling. "It was a yark and stormy night." Use spell check to find new words, and choose what you want. So it might become, "It was a dark and sorry night." To get a good flow, start by writing a paragraph or 2. Then go back, misspell some words, and choose new words from the spell check alternatives. Do this with at least 5 words. Read the text and use the new version of the story as inspiration to continue writing. When you get stuck, seek help from the spell check alternatives. Remember, the purpose of the exercise is to train your ability to make connections and be flexible in your thinking, not to write an award-winning novel. Drawing is a really effective way to train creativity. Maybe you say, "I can't draw." That's not true. You can draw. You drew as a child but stopped. Why? Probably because your drawings didn't meet your expectations of looking like reality. By the way, writing is drawing. You draw every single one of the small marks called letters. That came with practice, didn't it? In the following exercise, you train the ability to see, a cornerstone of creativity, and drawing. In the description, you can find a link to the book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, by Betty Edwards, if you want to delve deeper into retraining your drawing skills. Back to the exercise here. The exercise involves drawing the contours of an object. An object in reality that you have in front of you, like a vase, a keychain, a hairbrush, or any other object. Try starting with something not too complicated. You can also do the exercise from a photo. The trick is, you may only look at the object you're drawing, not at the drawing until you're done. This forces you to observe without judging the result. It's important to perform the exercise slowly, letting the pencil or pen follow your breathing. A slightly easier version of the exercise allows you to look at the drawing occasionally to orient yourself on the paper, but it's forbidden to draw while looking at the paper. You may only move your pencil to another spot on the paper and then look back at the object before continuing. You can see my attempts with a collection of drawing tools. As you can see, the results can be quite funny. The drawings clearly have a basis in reality, but show a somewhat distorted reality. But it's a good exercise for both observation skills and hand-eye coordination. One last exercise before we part for now. Created by Bob McKim of the Stanford Design Program, the 30 circles exercise is simple in practice and quick to complete. You are given a piece of paper with 30 blank circles on it, a pencil, and 3 minutes on the clock. You can print the circles out. You can find a link to a printout in the description, or just draw them by hand. Your task is to fill in as many of the circles as possible within the time, each circle containing a unique drawing. This exercise works best with a time limit to force quick thinking and spontaneous drawing. You can add an extra challenge by using different colored pencils. Here is my attempt at the exercise. Don't be too hard on yourself and avoid overthinking the task. That's all for now. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. It will help us create more and even better videos in the future. See you, and have fun until then.